this section is going to be enlightening your mind. So let's get right to it. So based upon section 1, you guys all know the point of the mind, the purpose of the mind, and what it is doing. Now it's the fun part. Now it's the part where we really start to break our connected web. So picture the mind to look similar like a brain, and it's connected and it has this like web of nightmares and restraints, and things aren't flowing the way it naturally should flow through there. And we want to be able to loosen up some of this web, break free from it, and allow yourself to become what I would call enlightened. Now, the only way we can truly become enlightened is by stepping outside of the mind, stilling the mind, and allowing it to become completely our tool, or I like to call it my pet. However, that is a practice that is slowly developed over time. And until we get to that place, I want to show you some skills that you can use to start lightening up your mind, loosening up some of those constricted places. So I have a couple challenges for you. One is I don't want you to take in any outside information during this section. The only information you're allowed to take in is from our E5 coaches or myself and your mirrors. So what is a mirror? I'm going to encourage you to allow things to show up in your life that can be a mirror to you. I want you to picture every single person as your mirror. And you're like Sherlock Holmes, laying out detective clues for yourself, for you to find you. Anything that you need to know, I'm going to ask you to trust that it will show up in exactly the way you need it to show up. This is the fun part about using our gratitude journal as well. Realizing that the challenges and opportunities that are about to arise in your life during this section are purposely designed by you, for you, in order for you to grow. Our mind and us, our being, our energy, it is magnificent. And it is designed to be magnificent. And you have designed a magnificent, amazing being that wants to grow. So, enlightening your mind. One is that allow your mind to show up and start working differently. Allow yourself to challenge the ways you take in information. I used to feel convicted to listen to a song, and I would wait, and I would type in Google, for example, love songs, and then I would listen to the love songs, and I would wait for them to lead me. And then when you hear something that has a message for you, it will ping in your body. You're like, ooh, that's exactly what I needed to hear today. Or somebody would show up, you'd ask the question. And ask the question. You need to ask the question. So if you have questions, you actually have to ask them in order for them to get answered. Now, this could be out loud, by yourself. It doesn't even matter. Half the time I send out 3 texts to 3 different people asking the same question. I don't even expect them to answer. It's just for me to get clarity and wait for my clues. The other thing I'm going to encourage you to do during this section is I really want you to challenge deep-rooted belief systems. Our mind is entangled with shame, suffering, pain, and fear. It's entangled in stories of who you think you should be, who you think you should have been, who you want to be. But you only know what you know. And so if you're building who you are based upon shoulds, coulds, woulds, I don't know how happy you're going to be with that person. So allow us to lose some of those expectations. Unfulfilled expectations leads to resentment. And we don't want you to resent you when you're just starting to love you. Allow your mind to work differently. Allow it to start taking in information differently. And allow yourself to let go of some of these stories. The only way we can truly accelerate and transform is through a process of letting go. I want to give you guys a couple tips and pointers, of course. When we begin to let go and surrender things in our mind, it can feel very intense. This is why it's vital that you continue to do integration. Not only that, our mind has a capability to make things worse than they are, okay? So when you feel like you're about to grieve or about to let go or transform, Our mind will blow it out of proportion sometimes. My mind loves to get dramatic with me and loves to make things so much worse than it can be. Does that for a variety of reasons. One is it wants to lock memories into place. But we really can't be in the now, in the still moment, if we're choosing to hold on to anything, past, present, or future. So slowly starting to challenge some of those beliefs. I would also like you to challenge some things that might be a little bit harder to challenge. And this will be on the worksheet and go along with it, such as your belief about time, your belief about the world, your belief about people, your belief about the body. Beliefs that are embedded, holidays, structure, anything and everything that you see limits you. It's our time to start really, really unwinding some of these beliefs, lightening up the load that our mind carries. Understand that your mind is supposed to be a ladder. And now we can start allowing it to move and shape and change things in a different way. Allow it to present you with creative clues, clues that you never thought were possible. Allow yourself to go down what I would call the wormhole. When we go from a place of victimization, where emotions are real and they kind of build our life, to a place of choice, which I hope that's where you guys are going this section, to a place of creation, the shift and the transformation can be drastic. And it could feel like we're going down the wormhole. It could feel like we're losing our mind. This is why breath and integration are important, and making sure that you continue to eat and sleep and do all the things that you're supposed to do right now. Those things might change later. And allow yourself the freedom to play. Allow yourself the freedom to play in this place, knowing that we're just starting to touch on transformation. We're just now starting to envelop, develop, create choice. And once you really start to see that you have choice over everything, it's going to blow your mind. And that's why we literally feel like we're losing our mind. And also at the same time, I just want to put this out there. Once you truly see that you have choice over everything, all of a sudden, one thing wants to come up, and that's regret. Realizing that you had the choice to create many of these things, or you did create many of these things. You created the divorce. You created the breakup. You created the injuries. You created everything. And once you start seeing that you created everything and there's always been choice, it creates a stumbling block for some. But no, it's only a moment in time. And as you integrate, you can start to transform and change differently. Let me share with you my personal story when I went from, went into the world of choice. I was driving home from work one day, and this is when I was still at my practice. I was like, ooh, what do I feel like eating today? It was late. It was like 8 o'clock, and I was going to stop and get some food on the way home. And I eat pretty healthy, and I work out a lot. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't feel at all. I freaked out and started like panicking a little bit and pulled over. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't feel like eating anything. I don't feel like anything. How am I going to make decisions? How am I going to decide what to do? How am I going to decide what to eat? Everything that we do right now in our lives is built on emotions. Everything that we choose is built on emotions. We wait until we feel motivated or feel compelled. We like salad. We like tuna fish. We like cupcakes. Whatever it is, we like that car. We like that house. We like that boy. So everything that we choose to like or choose to seek out are the things that we begin to create. But once you realize that you're not driven on emotion, how are you driven? This is where it gets really fun. That night, I went to the store and I got gluten-free, sugar-free cupcake, but I got a cupcake. And I got some popcorn because I'm like straight up in love with popcorn. And I went home and I ate popcorn and cupcakes. And I was like, what am I going to do? Do I even like working out? Do I like my job? What do I like? I sat there for a while. And then I realized it doesn't even matter because I just choose. And then this is where it gets fun. We just choose who we want to be. We start to create that person. And I was like, yeah, I think I do still like working out, and I'll choose to keep that. And I think I do still like eating healthy. And I think I do like this and that. I'm just going to choose to like those things. So I just want to reiterate that even if that does happen, it might not happen to you during this section. And if it does, that's okay. We're here to support you, and breathe and know that you have complete choice over this. You can also choose to slow your process at any time. Things get really, really fun once you start realizing you create your world. This is where true manifestation comes into play, because we have to have a certain level of accountability when we start to create. And that's why there's such a drastic shift, realizing that we don't want to create havoc out of an emotional place. We just want to create out of a loving place. Place of choice, a place of truth, and a place of transparency. All right, thank you, and feel free to do the handout right after this video. Use the manifestation manuscripts and the audios to go along, and we will move on to the next part. Have fun.